All right, we're just about to get this started. Lawrence, can I hear you?
Can you hear me now?
Yep,
Perfect.
it is all yours, my friend.
All right. Okay. Well, um, so good morning, everybody. This is Lawrence Kazan Cassini. I'm in Florida, and I'm very pleased to be with you today. I'm being helped by Scott Bennett, who's actually allowing me to, or enabling me to go first class because I didn't have to do anything today. I didn't have to push any buttons. I didn't have to do anything. So that's actually quite cool. Um, so today is the end of the first week in March, and as usual, my little spiel that I insist on tattooing on my forehead and looking in the mirror every day is the following: the slaughterhouse of failure is not my destiny, Ogmandino. The slaughterhouse of failure is not in my destiny. I will persist until I succeed. That's a scroll number 3 from Ogmandino. I do this every Friday morning. I talk about that particular phrase because we've got to keep that in mind. It's so easy not to do something, and it's so easy to get disheartened about anything. You know, people they say, "Oh, I want a baby. I want to have kids. I want to get married. I want this job, or whatever." And when they're in it, then they say, "Oh my gosh, this is much more complicated than I thought." Well, you're in it, and you've got to actually, excuse me, you've actually got to make it happen, and not just fade out and not do it. So persistence, and it's all about mindset. Mindset, in my opinion, is the most important part of this business, because we can be taught, we can be given the tools, which we are given, we can be shown how to do it, it can be explained. So whether it's, you know, audio or visual, we can be shown, we can be taught, but it's up to us to actually persevere and make a success. So today I'm going to talk just briefly about, mention something about Ken Blanchard and Stephen Covey. These are just two of many, many authors that we recommend people read. So today we're in week 9 of the Ruby plan. We're in the first week of March. We've finished January, February, and we've got a 16-week plan to get to Ruby. Not ourselves necessarily, but our teams. So my eternal question is again, who are you? Answer these questions to yourselves in your own time. Who are you? How well do you know yourself? And what do you want? Because most people, honestly, try it. Go around and ask people those 3 questions, and you'll be surprised. Most people give generic answers. Oh, I want to be happy. Oh, I want to be healthy. But they don't tell you about, excuse me, they don't tell you about the sweat that has to go into being fit. Oh, I want to be fit. I want to look like whatever. But they don't tell you that it takes a lot of time and sweat to do that. So the other thing is we're constantly under scrutiny and the critics of others. The more successful, the louder the noise. So when you do something, whatever you do, someone's going to criticize it, or someone is going to give you some kind of encouragement. But we've got to be the orchestra, the conductor of the orchestra in our own minds, because there's a lot of chatter, there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of everything going on all the time. And we've got to be able to dim the noise of negativity, and we've got to increase the wonderful sounds of positivity. Napoleon Hill has a book called Outwitting the Devil. And in this Outwitting the Devil, he talks about the chatter in our minds. In our minds, we've got something that says, you can do it. And then this other says, oh, you can't do it. Yeah, it is very difficult. So it's like feeding those, you got two hungry wolves. One is positive, one is negative. So now you got to figure out out of those two wolves that are hungry, one's positive, which one is going to thrive? It's the one you feed. So feed only the part that is very positive. Also, it's important to like yourself, feel good about yourself, like who you are. Learn to like how you think. This is an evolution. You know, I used to constantly beat myself up about shoulda, coulda, woulda. I should have done this better. I could have done it better. I would have done it. Well, do it. But the beating up is not beating up. Just self-analyze. Analyze what you do, who you are, how you act. Walk your talk. Be authentic. That's credibility. When you walk your talk, that's credibility. So analyze your diet, your daily, weekly, and monthly actions. Can I improve? How can I improve? Get feedback from somebody. Get somebody to critique you. That is a gift. When somebody has the courtesy to critique you, that's a gift. That's where we learn. We don't learn from mumbling on and going through our lives without anybody correcting us. That's what somebody should be doing. Ask for it. Get help for that. No one is as smart as all of us. This is from the 1 Minute Manager. So what does that actually mean? It means we have all kinds of people with different personalities, different backgrounds, different professions. Everybody sees things in a different way. Some people, people understand things from their perspective. So you've got to listen, you've got to discuss, you've got to analyze, and then opine. When everybody is offering some kind of a suggestion, some kind of an opinion, some kind of a thought, that's great. You can then analyze all that and opine, lead by example. And your ego should not be the driving force. It should be the driving force, but not the dominating force. Very important. The ego is our best friend or a worst enemy. So have the ego as your driving force, but not as a dominating force. Leadership is about what you can achieve for your team. So the Ruby call, which everybody should be doing, should be on a call. If you're not on a call, ask for the upline to have a Ruby call. Be the leader of your Ruby call if you feel like you're up to it. But it's about synchronizing your team. So start working on yourself, obviously. So once you've got your own thoughts aligned, once your own thoughts are clear, once you're clear about what you want to do and how you want to do this, then remember that everybody's looking at this from a different point of view. Bear in mind that 80% of people who get into Nu Skin are women. But about 80% of the most successful people are men. What? Why? Because the man generally looks at this as a business. The woman looks at it from an emotional point of view. I'm talking about the Nu Skin side. So if you look at this as a business, then treat it as a business. And that's where we've got to focus as well. We've got to focus this on the head rather than from the heart. The emotional perspective people look at this, that's fine. A lot of people look at this from the emotional point of view. Excellent. but it's also has to be brought to some kind of reality of cold thinking, of a business way of doing it. 80% of your results, excuse me, will come from 20% of the people that are in your team. That's the 80-20 rule generally. 80% come from 20%. And very often we spend 80% of the time on the people that are not so productive. It should be the other way around. Spend more time on the people that are productive. So invest in the productive people. So Don Shula of the Miami Dolphins was talking about winning and losing. And he would allow people, his team, 24 hours after a game to rejoice or to bemoan the results. 24 hours, that's all they had. To rejoice and say, wow, we're great. We did a phenomenal job. Wow, we just beat the other team. We're just so great. 24. And then, or we lost, and oh my gosh, how terrible is that? The next thing is get ahead of tomorrow immediately after 24 hours. Success is not forever. Failure is not fatal. Don't rest on your laurels. You had a good month. All right. The very first 3 weeks of the month should be the hardest time you work, not the last week. Everybody waits until the last week and then you got to panic. No, start from the very beginning, the very first week. So in our teams, imagine being a music conductor. Excuse me. Excuse me. Imagine being a music conductor. You've got piano, violins, cellos, flutes, drums. I mean, there's everybody in there. And they all sound different. But the orchestra conductor is trying to get everybody to synchronize and coordinate to make a tune which everybody can recognize. So he's got to upregulate some of the people. That's why he's flapping his arms everywhere. And he's downregulating some people. So we have to be the orchestra conductor of our own teams. We've got to motivate, engage, create enthusiasm, immediately praise success and encourage the people. So, because some people are going to be having a wonderful week or day, other people are going to say, oh my God, it was terrible. I spoke to 7 people today. Every single one told me that showed me the door. Well, that may be, but you've got to look at being able to equate both sides. You've got to be able to encourage the people who are having a bad day, because it's not forever, and you've got to be able to motivate everybody and try and get the same kind of teamwork going, because basically that's what it is. The company gives us the tools to work with, the know-how. We have that. It's like the orchestra. We've got the violins, we've got the violas, the cellos, the flutes, the drums. We got all that from the company. They give us the know-how. It's up to us. And they've invested all that in that know-how. So investing in that know-how, it now leads us to say, well, what do I need to do? Well, we have to find the know-who. That's what this business is all about. It's about using the tools we have, which are phenomenal tools. I mean, really good tools. And find the know-who. And then synchronize all those tools we have with all the mentalities, the divergent personalities of everybody that we've got, and find the way to make the team go forward. That's why we talk about a Ruby call, because it's not about me being successful. If it was just about one person, then it's a lot easier than, and a lot less permanent, a lot less permanent than trying to get a team going, because in the team, we've got a root system of a strong tree. If we're just trying to do this on our own and to be successful on our own, yeah, okay, but it's not permanent. The idea of a Ruby call, a Ruby team, and Ruby teams, plural, is because each one of those becomes an anchoring root of our tree. So occasionally, very occasionally, probably one in 5,000, we come across somebody like Andy Feltz. Andy Feltz is one of those people that is a born extraterrestrial achiever. So Andy has the leadership qualities that he's proven in his private business. He's the largest home care company in the US, the largest. Why is he doing this? Well, that's a question you can ask him, and he will tell you why. But the point I'm trying to make is that occasionally we come across a lottery like Andy Feltz, who is a motivator. He's a father, he's a husband, he's a family man, and he's a trainer for his college softball team as well. So he carves out of his week 20 hours to do the coaching at his son's college. I mean, think about it. He already gets up at 4 a.m, tends to the largest home care company in the United States. He's got 3,200 nursing homes. Think about that. He's a chef, the orchestra conductor of 3,000 nursing homes, 400 some doctors. Seriously? And you have time for new skin and to be very successful? I mean, if it's possible to do, somebody will do it. Andy Feltz is one of those 1 in 5,000 or 10,000 people. So, but once somebody does it, it kind of inspires people that they too can aspire to do something similar. Roger Bannister ran the mile in 4 minutes. That was in the 30s or 20 somethings, 28 or 30. He was the first person. And everybody was like, that's not possible. He's superhuman. Well, guess what? There are thousands of people every year now that run the mile in 4 minutes or less. But it took a leader to do that. It took somebody to inspire the rest that it's possible. Andy Feltz is an inspiration to me anyway, to a lot of people, to all his team. I mean, he's done this, he's been in this less than 2 years. And he's just blowing it out of the park continually. But every time I speak to him, where are you, Andy? Oh, I'm in Ohio today. Okay. Then tomorrow he'll call and he's in, I don't know, San Francisco, or he's in Washington, or he's in Seattle, or he's in, Connecticut somewhere. So it's about leadership. It's about mindset. That's why I keep harping on this mindset thing. And it's about having the tools to work with, which we've got. It's about coordinating all these tools that the company has given us. It's about leading a Ruby team where we are synchronizing all the personalities of different people. I mean, they're all different ages, they're different sex, men, women, young, old, different experiences, different backgrounds. It's fun if you see it as fun. But it's a huge challenge if you see it as a challenge. I don't. I see this as a huge entertainment for me. It's fun to be able to work and say, well, here's someone who's 24 years old. What possible thing in common does this person who's 21 or 22 years old have in common with someone who's 65 and who's lived in a different part of the country and who's got different experience? Well, guess what? The unifying tools are what we have in the company. And as the chef of orchestra, once we tune ourselves, once we are capable of organizing ourselves, we can then organize everybody else, or at least help to organize everybody else. So, March is the first week, is the 9th week. That'll be the 12th week towards Ruby. So my question then is, how are you doing this month, this week? How did you do last month? We've got 16 weeks total from January. So we've got less than 12 weeks now. So my question then is, how is your schedule going? How is your plan to Waikiki going, or Waikiki? How's your plan for Ruby's going? How many people do you have for the fly-in? How much time are you investing in that? And I say investing, the best investment you can make, the best, is to get people to go to Utah. Why? Because we used to call it build belief. It's a place where people can see for themselves, kick the tires, meet other people. It's not just smoke and mirrors, it's real. It's real stuff. So how many new brand reps did you get in the last week, in the last 8 weeks? Is it up to your expectation? Is it what you planned? Why not? What's missing? What do you need to tweak to make it, to reach your goals? What's in the next 4 weeks? Have you made your plan for that? Have you got your team to make their plans for that? How many three-way calls did you make this week? How many did you do over and above? The tradition is to say three-way calls a day. Well, if we can do that every day, and three calls and three ways, that's great. But try and push yourself as well. Try and do 5 and stick to 5. Try and do more. The more you do, the more you can, the probabilities of success. So it becomes important that we continually sharpen the saw of our tools. We talked about that before. We've got to look and take stock of what we're doing. How well are we doing it? What are we doing? Are we happy with what we're doing? Not happy. Are we delighted with what we're doing? I hate, honestly, I'm confessing something that my wife will, she won't be happy. I don't like the weekends because it's some time that I have to slow down and I have to focus on stuff, which of course is important. It's family. That's all part of the wheel of life. That old famous wheel of life. We've got to focus on all of these things, the spirituality, the family, the health, the fitness, the community. Those are all the wedges of the tree of life, not the tree, the wheel of life. But when the weekend comes and I've been running like a racehorse all week, it's kind of tough to just, take off the bit from the mouth and take off the saddle and kind of go and chew grass for a week, for the day. It's kind of tough to do that. But then Monday comes along and I'm all excited again. Yay, I got another 6 days that I can start hustling. And as I mentioned yesterday, or the last week, we're not limited to any time zone. So your week can be as short or as long as you want it. This is a business of choice. This is a success of choice. It's your choice whether you want to be successful or not. It's your choice how much you want to work. It's your choice how much time you want to dedicate. It's your choice as to how interested you are, how enthusiastic you are. But you need help with that, maybe. If you do, that's what the team is for. That's what everybody's around for. We've got a group of people, team of people. Scott Bennett today made me go first class with this thing, with this presentation. Why? All I had to do was click and say, I'm here. So that's teamwork. He saw that I was fumbling with my own ineptitudes, which are getting better. I'm not beating myself up because I'm going to get it absolutely perfect. But with my own hesitations on technology. And then there's the Zoom, and then coordinated with FaceTime, and then coordinated with your computer. And for me, that's frustrating as hell. But guess what? Here's teamwork. Scott just said, just sit down and present. Okay, thank you. How much easier is that? So I can't actually see what's going on, but Scott is taking care of all that. So I don't know who's on, who's not. So I can't acknowledge anybody. I am very grateful for everybody that's on. And so I'd like to leave a couple of things to think about. It becomes important. No, it becomes imperative to keep growing. How do we keep growing? By learning. We keep learning by reading, by listening, by engaging, by doing. So try and keep learning every day something, every day. So for example, yesterday, silly thing, I have my little coffee thing here, and these are espressos that I make. And yesterday I spilled a little drop on my shirt, and somebody was with me, said, go and get one of those wet wipes and it'll take the coffee stain off immediately. I didn't know that. And lo and behold, it worked. So reading. By the way, there's some documentaries that I think are very, very, very important for people to watch. Invest some time in expanding your expanding your observation of life. Accept what you like, accept what you don't like, but take what makes sense and use it. So here are a couple of, and I'm only going to do two today, just to mention. Two Netflix that I highly recommend. One is called Game Changer. Game Changer. It's on Netflix. Wow. Wow. You know, when we see people like Jane Fonda, who's 80 something years old, and literally, I swear, I think she looks like she's 50. But she's been practicing all kinds of healthy lifestyle choices since she was 17. I remember her doing her classes. You guys won't remember because, you know, I'm the ancient one here. But anyway, trust me, she was doing these things. So Game Changer, Netflix. Another one is Holy Chicken. I've got lots of these that I will mention, but today I'm just going to mention two. Why do I mention that? Because part of that circle of life is our health. Our health is very, very important. So put oxygen on you first before you put it on everybody else. Learn to take care of yourselves. Be be conscious of your health, not just fitness. It's not just about going to the gym. What happens after that? What do you put in your bodies? What do you eat? Do you read the labels of stuff? You know, I know it's got nothing to do with our business, but it has. Because if you're not there, if you're not in charge of your business, the orchestra conductor, the whole orchestra will be fumbling on its own. You're the one who started your orchestra. Each one of us has a business we've started. It's up to us. It's 10:01, folks. I appreciate you being on. I have no idea who's on. I'm grateful to you. I appreciate it. And I look forward to having comments, good, bad, all the rest of them. Have a fantastic week and be happy with who you are and what you're doing. Be delighted with your results. Love yourselves. Come on, man. Have a good weekend. God bless everyone.
Thanks, Lawrence.